Hey everybody, today we're going to be showing you how to install a rear bumper on your Polaris RZR Turbo S. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is remove both of your rear wheels and tires. Then you're going to want to disconnect your radius arms from your trailing arm. Pick up on the trailing arm and push your bolts out. And we're running our high clearance box radius arms. So we're going to stick our bolts back through, that way we don't lose our heim joint bushings. And we're going to repeat the steps for the opposite side. Then we're going to remove the rear fascia that covers up the muffler. We'll just set it aside. Then we're going to remove the radius arms from the center of the machine by removing these 4 bolts. Once you've removed all 4 nuts, you're just going to want to pull all 4 radius arms off. You can do this by grabbing hold of all of them, grabbing hold of the rear plate, and they'll all come off together. The next step is going to be to remove this bolt here on this side, as well as the same location on the opposite side. Then you're going to want to grab your drill guide out of the hardware kit. You're going to insert it into this hole right here on the frame. You're going to take your previously removed bolt, reinstall it where it came from. And you'll want to get this as center as you can. And you're going to go ahead and retighten this bolt up. So now what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to get a drill bit large enough to fit a 10mm bolt. You're going to insert it through the drill guide, and you're going to drill a hole through the backside of the tubing in the frame. We've already had a bumper previously installed on this machine, so it already has the hole drilled through the frame. As you can see, we got our 10mm bolt, and it slides into the frame good. That's what you're going to want. Then you're going to remove the drill guide from this side. Reinstall the previously removed hardware. Once we remove it, we'll install our drill guide, just like we did on the other side. Drill our hole, then take a 10mm bolt from the hardware kit. Make sure that it fits all the way through, nice and easily. So you may wonder what the big spacers are in the hardware kit. Therefore, if you're using a factory radius arm, what you want to do, you want to install your lower portion of the bumper, have your radius arm up against the spacer, and then the lower portion of the bumper. But today we're running our SuperATV heavy duty boxed radius arms, so we're not going to use the spacers, and this applies for any of SuperATV's radius arms. We're going to grab our M12 by 1.75 bolts. We're going to need all 4 of them. And we're going to grab our M12 nylock nut, our radius arm, and our lower portion of the bumper. We're going to go ahead and start reinstalling the radius arms. The easiest way I found to do this is to take your bolt. We're going to be installing the lower passenger side arm. So we're going to slide our bolt through, slide our arm onto the bolt, and we're going to pick the whole lower portion of the bumper up and the radius arm and slide it through the hole. We're going to take a nut, come around to the back side and get it started on there. Then we're going to repeat the steps for the rest of our radius arms. Once we have all our bolts started back into the radius arms, we're going to go ahead and go through and fully tighten them. We're going to go ahead and reattach the radius arms to the trailing arms. One tip, just to make sure whenever you reinstall these bolts that they're facing with the nut to the backside. That way, if you ever have an issue on the trail, you know you need to remove your radius arm, all you got to do is take this nut loose, slide the bolt back, and you can pull the radius arm off. Then you want to go ahead and fully tighten your hardware, and then repeat the steps on the opposite side. Then we're going to go ahead and reinstall our muffler cover. Slide it in just like this, and go through and fully tighten the hardware. Next, we're gonna grab our upper portion of the bumper, our end caps, our Allen-headed bolts, our M10 by 30 millimeter hardware, as well as 2 lock washers, and then our bumper tubes. Take one of our M10 by 30 millimeter bolt, a lock washer, and you're gonna put it through the big hole in the front of the upper portion of the bumper. You're gonna wanna roll it to its side, just kind of slide the bolt down in the position where the threads are hanging out of the hole, and then we'll drop right through. We're gonna grab one of our bumper tubes. Just gonna take our extension of 15 millimeter and just start threading it into the tube. Then you'll just wanna loosely tighten it until it barely touches. That way, if you need to make any adjustments, you can. You'll repeat the steps for the opposite side for the tube. Then you're gonna grab your cap and your Allen-headed bolt, and you're gonna go ahead and install this cap. You may wonder why you would install a cap here. This is for if you're not running a full protection kit, which we're not today, so we're gonna go ahead and install this cap. If you were running a full protection kit, this is where you would be attaching your rear fender covers at. Then repeat the steps for the opposite side. You want to make sure whenever you install your tubes to your upper bumper that the straight portion of the tube is the one that's connecting to the bumper, and then that it angles downward like so. Then you're going to want to grab 2 alignment washers, 2 M10 by 1.5 by 80 millimeter bolts, 2 flat washers, and 2 lock washers. And then we're going to take the upper portion of the bumper and install it to the machine. You're going to want to slide it underneath here. Once you have your bumper all lined up and in place, grab your M10 bolt, your flat washer, as well as the lock washer. Then install the lock washer to the bolt first, then the flat washer. We're going to take our alignment washer and make sure that it's on the tube side going up against the frame, and then we're going to install our bolt from the rear and fasten it to the bumper tube. And then you're going to go to your opposite side, repeat the same steps. Next, we're going to join the upper and the lower portion of the bumper by using our clamps. So we'll go ahead and remove the screws out of the clamps here. Take the lower and the upper portion of the clamp and slide it onto the tubes of the bumper. This is the part where it's nice if you've already left everything, pretty loose, that you can rotate everything around. Once we have it pretty well lined up, we're going to grab our screws. And we're going to grab our other side clamp, do the exact same thing. Once you have all your screws started, you're going to want to go through and tighten them in an X pattern. You want to make sure that your gap is equal on both sides. Then you'll do the same exact thing for the opposite side. Then you're going to tighten the bolts that we previously started through the frame into the bumper tubes. Then you're going to want to go through and fully tighten the bolts that are through the bumper in these holes here. Then you want to go through, make sure all your hardware is tight, then reinstall your wheels and tires. And that's how super easy it is to install SuperATV's rear bumper on this Polaris RZR Turbo S. For more information on this bumper or any of SuperATV's great products, give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.